Well, thank you, INTA, for the invitation and the pleasure to speak here. Thank you for the presentations that we have heard already in the morning and now. What else to add? I mean, so many things have been said, and I will do something which I'm not sure if it will work within 9 minutes. I skip my presentation and I tell you something else, but let's try. Okay, first, I definitely do not come from a secondary city. The city I come from is called Schwechat, and has 16,000 inhabitants, 16,000. Not 1 million, not 500,000, 16,000. And it says it is an innovative city, and one output, one measure of this is, the city decided to have its own research institute, and I have the pleasure to run this research institute. So for a 16,000 inhabitant city, it's unusual to do such a measure. But this city has a tradition in the Austrian city network. It has rich soils, it has enough water. What can you do with wheat and water? You can make bread and you can make beer, so the lager beer was invented there. So it has a long tradition in that. Then it was a refinery city. Then, recently, it is an airport city. And now we come to the town or the city that maybe is better known than this small place Schwechat. Our biggest suburb is 100 times bigger than this city, and it's called Vienna. So we host the Vienna airport within the municipality, and this gives a certain freedom on regional and local policy. Okay, but, and now coming to my presentation, I mean, we all know we are planners, we are decision makers. We all know that cities are in permanent change, so this is nothing new, and we always have to reinvent our cities. Where do we start? And we heard a lot of approaches today, more or less top-down approaches. What should politics do? What can we as planners do? Where do we start? Just rushing through here, and we already heard it. Each city, each neighborhood is unique, requires its unique solution. So copy and paste a solution from one place to the other is not a good idea, but still we can learn a lot from each other. And yes, we have urban sprawl across Europe, we're using a lot of land, and there are wonderful statistics about that, but that's all numbers that we can read in presentations. What's really new for the planners discipline is we have data, information, knowledge infrastructures available. We can really analyze what is going on. Here you have excerpts from Corinne Landcover, but there's also something called Urban Atlas, developed by the European Environmental Agency. We have crowdsourcing of data, we have open governmental data. So this is really a new thing that gives us as planners some new tools into hand where we can really analyze what's going on. Okay, and I could keep talking now as a planner, but I don't want to today. Forget for a moment that I'm a planner, and I'm just a person. And my situation 6 years ago was, I was living in the city of Vienna together with my girlfriend, 10 minutes by bicycle to the absolute city center, St. Stephen's Cathedral, 10 minutes to the Prater, wonderful green area, all shopping facilities around, no need to own a car, wonderful, 100 square meter flat. As we were so happy, one evening we had some fun. The result of this fun is called Freddy and is 4.5 years old now. We found ourselves in the situation that we realized, okay, we do not have an elevator in this house and we are living on the 5th floor. What do we do? Searching for something new. Okay, let's look for something. Let's look for something that matches this. And you start looking around, where do you have a nice apartment in Vienna, 5th floor, 6th floor, over the roofs, big enough for 1, 2 children. And you realize, okay, this thing costs you 500,000 euro, 600, 700. And you look in your wallet and you realize, okay, I have 500, you have 300, okay, only 499,200 missing, so where do we get this? As soon as you start looking, you find that 20 kilometers outside the city, you get a small house for that. 50 kilometers outside, you get a big house on 1,000 square meters. And suddenly you find yourself as part of urban sprawl. You are part of the problem. You move out because it's attractive. Okay, we didn't do that, but we started to analyze what's going on. I wouldn't be a planner if we had stopped thinking by, okay, let's buy the cheapest thing that we can afford. But we developed a project out of it called the Mobility Pass for Real Estate. And what we tried to do is systematically analyze, okay, people know what a real estate, what a house, what a flat costs. Nowadays, there's a big awareness for the energy consumption. So basically no new house is built in Austria nowadays that does not at least fulfill low energy standards, passive energy standards. So everybody has a look at that. But then you have a low energy house on a green meadow somewhere in the forests, and every day you get into your car and commute for 50 kilometers. And our aim was to say, okay, not do it as from the planner's point of view and not raise your finger and so, you should not sprawl or you must not live there, but develop a tool that tells normal people, ordinary people, that gives them an idea of mid and long-term mobility costs in terms of real costs, in terms of time consumption, in terms of accident risk, and in terms of CO2 emissions. And this thing is called the Mobility Pass for Real Estate. I think, and we have heard today about the big agglomerations and the advantage that you have in a big agglomeration. And if you have within 2 hours flight time, 50, 100 million people that you can reach, this is wonderful. Yes, this is wonderful for some companies, this is wonderful for some businesses, but for the single person, what do I do with 100 million people? Isn't it that we live in neighborhoods, that our life is much more local than we sometimes see it as planners? Of course, as planners, we have to have the big view. But with the system we have, and I don't know for many other countries, but in Austria, as soon as the gas prices go up, there's a big cry and say, oh, those poor commuters, they have to pay more. Hey, come on. Is this really the only effect? We force commuting by these prices, by supporting commuting. We contribute to, we're talking about social cohesion here. We educate commuters. Instead of giving them the information, hey, come on, you can save a lot of your lifetime, you can save a lot of money if you pay a little more for your house, for your home, and you don't have to own 2 cars, 3 cars, 4 cars in one household, and maybe also you have a much better social life in your neighborhood. To conclude with that, if we had taken this decision just to see how much money we have, what we can afford, we would have ended up 50 kilometers outside Vienna, and we would be taxi drivers for our children for the next 20 years, because you have to drive them everywhere. In this case, we decided to invest a little more in the final investment, and knowing that we save this. But as planners, we know that usual people, normal people, and especially the real estate sector do not know that. And as the last point, one of the major things in this project that we do for the Austrian Ministry of Transport and Innovation is we closely work together with the real estate sector, because the real estate agents have to be aware of this, because it gives them a very good argument to sell more expensive flats close to the city than basically supporting this kind of sprawl. Okay, as I told you, I skipped my presentation and I told you a personal story. I hope it contributed a little bit to the discussion, and thank you for your attention.